little snack, and here we go.
There's no denying that Sonic the Hedgehog is one of the most iconic and recognizable mascots worldwide. And with the spotlight once again shining on him thanks to the success of the recent live-action adaptations, as well as hype building for Sonic Frontiers, it is only inevitable that there would be a few controversies along the way. From weird origin stories to casual beastiality, there is so much to unpack from Sonic's history, and a lot of crazy things you probably haven't heard about the Blue Hedgehog. But that's where list makers come in. We don't forget and never miss a scandal in a franchise. So with that said, this is 10 things Sega wants you to forget about Sonic the Hedgehog. Before we jump into the video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon to keep up to date with all our latest content. Starting our list at number 10, Sonic's human relationships. Yes, you heard that right. We all know Amy Rose, the pink hedgehog who's known for being obsessed with Sonic. A classic will they, won't they story. But Amy Rose wasn't the first love interest of the Blue Hedgehog. Originally, Sonic was given a human girlfriend during development of the first game in 1991. She was pictured as a curvaceous blonde named Madonna that towered over Sonic. Naoto Oshima was a Japanese artist and former Sega employee that originally designed Sonic and Eggman, as well as Madonna. His inspiration for Madonna was the male fantasy who was supposed to chase Sonic around. Yikes! But Madonna was axed by Sega of America along with other ideas from Oshima, as they felt the character wouldn't be acceptable for the US and child-friendly market. You think? But in a plot twist, that didn't stop Sega from putting the strangest relationship and kiss in the 2006 Sonic the Hedgehog release. In the game, Sonic's animal friends, emphasis on the animal part, help Princess Elise when he dies, reviving him with a kiss. Not only was it bizarre that a human character was kissing an animal, but the design of Elise makes her look weirdly realistic, in direct contrast to Sonic's cartoony design. Oh, and the fact that Sonic is meant to be 15 years old probably has something to do with why Sega wants to wipe this moment from your memories. Number 9. Sonic's original name. Mickey Mouse, SpongeBob SquarePants, Sonic the Hedgehog. Names that are recognizable the world over. Except this nearly wasn't the case. It's no secret that Sonic was created in response to the success of Super Mario. And with Sega's old campaign from the 1990s stating that Sega does what Nintendo don't, it was a pretty clever move if you ask us. Together, Sonic was created by programmer and designer Yuji Naka and, as previously mentioned, artist Naoto Oshima. Naka was inspired by speedrunning in Mario, which led him to choose a character that was fast, and so Feel the Rabbit was born. That was until that idea was scrapped and the designer settled on a spiky blue hedgehog that can roll into a ball. That's much more like the Sonic we all know today. The creators based Sonic's design on Felix the cat's head and Mickey Mouse's body. But he wasn't always known as Sonic. His original name was actually Mr. Needlemouse. The name is an alternative translation of Mr. Hedgehog. Thank God Sega changed that, as Mr. Needlemouse doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Ring, do you get it? Number 8. The Sonic fandom. If you're a Sonic fan, wait! Don't just like the video, this isn't about you. It's instead about all the other annoying Sonic fans watching. Sonic's fandom is infamous. Their reach and interests are seemingly limitless, with each subsection coming into viral internet consciousness more than once throughout the years. The Sonic fandom is home to almost every form of expression a person can use to show how much they love or care for something. Even larger franchises like Star Wars, Marvel, and Pokemon don't have this kind of fan-created media output. Sonic probably has more fan characters than any other franchise. In fact, they became so rampant online that it became a popular trend to Google your name along with the Hedgehog and post the results, giving outsiders a glimpse of the sheer volume and size of the Sonic fandom. People of all age ranges and skill levels try their hand at altering the designs and creating backstories for their newly created characters. Again, however, Sonic OCs don't come without controversy. Many of these characters were uploaded to DeviantArt, where people could upload their art for free with very poor moderation. This would have an unfortunate side effect. Whether it was the often strange fetish galleries or laughing at a new artist's first attempt, these OCs also became the center of ridicule for the internet. It was easy to pluck something from DeviantArt and post how cringe, bad, or unintentionally funny the image was. Similarly, the staggering amount of fetish art didn't help Sonic's mainstream reputation, with one outlet asking, "There's a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog fetish art online. Why?" The article suggests it's likely because of the crossover between the Sonic and furry communities. Sonic is one of the largest franchises to star anthropomorphic characters. However, as an answer, this might be lacking. The volume of Sonic-related and quality issues actually resulted in the art being banned from Furry Art Archive. As one user put it, when even furries, who are traditionally at the bottom of the internet abuse heap, are saying, "Man, your stuff is bad, you should feel bad, and we don't want you around here," it kinda sets the tone for all the other interactions too. Ouch! Number 7. Not so speedy Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog is fast. That's his whole shtick. He wouldn't have a theme song titled "Gotta Go Fast" otherwise. But it turns out that Sonic himself isn't that fast at all. You know, those flash red sneakers are not just a fashion statement for Sonic. According to the OG game manual, his sneakers are the true source of his speed, and of course protecting his feet from such speed. Once upon a time, Sonic was just an average hedgehog, but in terms of speed, he wasn't all that fast. That was until he met Dr. Kintobor, now known as Dr. Robotnik, who wanted to protect Sonic's planet of Mobius by capturing all its evil. But to do so, Kintobor needed a 7th Chaos Emerald. In exchange for helping, Kintobor developed a special pair of sneakers to help Sonic reach super speeds. Who knew Dr. Robotnik could be kind once upon a time? But when Sonic took the sneakers out for a test spin, he crashed, which results in his quills fusing, turning him blue, giving us the Sonic we know today. The shoes worked and gave him the ability to perform some of his attacks, like his Sonic Spin attack. This is something that Sega has downplayed since it was picked up on, labeling it as incorrect. But as this was Sonic's debut game, it was something that changed along the way. We don't blame Sega for changing the concept. Having magical shoes definitely takes away from what Sonic is supposed to be and rejects his most iconic feature. Number 6. Sega doesn't understand hedgehogs. Now, if we were going to be technical about the biological build of Sonic compared to a real hedgehog, there's a lot of differences. I mean, hedgehogs aren't blue for a start, and they don't run at the speed of light in red sneakers. But if there's something that real hedgehogs can do that Sonic can't, it's swimming. And the reason behind it is pretty hilarious. Sonic's known for walking underwater and collecting air bubbles to keep him from drowning. The original developer of Sonic, Yuji Naka, wrongly assumed hedgehogs lacked aquatic abilities. At the end of the day, Sonic is a fictional character, so who really cares if he can or can't swim? Nevertheless, it doesn't take away from the fact that Naka developed him this way due to believing hedgehogs can't actually swim. I mean, they can. Look at this little guy go. Number 5. Sonic is Bill Clinton. Now, not literally, but during the Nintendo vs. Sega console war era, Sonic was Sega's response to Nintendo's Mario. But before the character came along, the creators looked to America for inspiration, leading Sega to develop the character based on the likes of Michael Jackson and Santa Claus with his snazzy red shoes. But more uniquely, the character's personality is based on the 42nd President Bill Clinton and his can-do attitude. When Clinton was running for president in 1992, he had a get-it-done type of attitude during his campaign. And in modern Sonic media today, the hedgehog often acts without hesitation and, well, gets the job done, often seen tapping his foot impatiently if he stood on the same spot for too long. Personally, as we grew up with Sonic, we can't really see any resemblance to Bill Clinton and his personality traits, but we guess that's a good thing. You know, somewhere out there in an alternative timeline, there is a Sonic based on the 45th President of the United States. Number 4. A big FU to Sega. In this day and age, it's understandable for companies to fear angry and unappreciated employees with a social media platform. It only takes one tweet to go viral and it can doom a company overnight. And developer on Sonic, Yuji Naka, knows a thing or two about taking things into his own hands. By the time Naka was 20 years old, he was making a respectable name for himself in the game development world as he landed himself a dream job at Sega, designing and programming various video games. Along with his co-worker and artist Naoto Oshima, the pair created one of the most recognizable video game characters ever made, which led to a tight relationship between the eastern and western branches of Sega, eventually leading to the creation of the Sonic team. But Naka and his team were massively underappreciated by Sega. The company was dead set against producers, designers, and all the production crew for that matter getting their names credited in the game. Obviously, this news went down really well in the company and with the designers, so Naka took matters into his own hands to stand up for his colleagues and against Sega. He did so by featuring his and his colleagues' names on a black screen at the start of the game in black text that could only be uncovered with a code, and he managed to get this past Sega before its release. Pretty genius if you ask us. But, of course, Sega probably weren't overly happy to find out that people now know that the OG Sonic game contains a huge middle finger moment towards them all thanks to Yuji Naka. Number 3. The Lost World of Aggressive Language. Sonic Lost World came to us in 2003 for the Wii U. The game received pretty good reviews from fans and is described as a fun and worthy addition to the franchise. But Sega was faced with some problems with the release of the game. Despite its fun, cartoon aesthetic aimed to appeal to children, the game actually gained an E10+ rating, which is higher than pretty much every other Sonic release. And that was all thanks to some of the game's verbal content, consisting of offensive language that's considered too mature for children.
Are you gonna live when your world's dead, guys? Alright, you've been dead too! Too bad for you!
I will burn your world, you rebellious scum! I will destroy everything you love and make you watch!
Boss, your hands!
As long as I can still strangle a Zeti, my hands are fine.
With one-liners like, "I'm going to skin you alive," and "You're going home in a box," along with references to genocide and strangulation. This probably isn't the most child-friendly language, which obviously bumped the E rating up. It's something that Sega has avoided ever since. The language and references seemed very out of place for what is considered to be a kid's accessible game and franchise. We can't see Sega making that mistake again. That is, unless Sonic.exe makes an appearance. Number 2. Spying Sonic. Shady developers have released all kinds of bootleg Sonic the Hedgehog games on the Android App Store. But at the very least, you'd expect Sega's official Sonic apps to respect its customers' privacy. You'd be wrong. According to Prodeo, a mobile security company, 3 of Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog apps are gathering user information and sharing it to the net, and it's not clear who exactly is benefiting from the exchange. Specifically, Prodeo claims that Sonic Dash, Sonic Dash 2, Sonic Boom, and Sonic the Hedgehog Classic are collecting location and device data from users' mobile devices and sending the information to various servers, including at least 3 that Prodeo calls uncertified. Even worse, Prodeo has identified 2 issues that could lead to man-in-the-middle attacks, as well as a handful of other security holes. All in all, the affected Sonic apps have about 15 vulnerabilities each. That isn't a small problem either. Sonic the Hedgehog is very, very popular, and up to 600 million users might be affected. In response to Prodeo's report, Sega told ZDNet that it's looking into the problems and will fix any issues that it runs across. Still, given that Sega had no idea that this information was exposed before Prodeo's article came out, it's not a great look for Sonic's home company, especially in light of all the other sketchy things that Sega has done. And coming in at our number 1 spot, Ugly Sonic. In 2019, hype was building as fans of the Sonic franchise worldwide were anticipating the long-awaited trailer for the live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movie. That was until a freakishly realistic-looking blue hedgehog with human teeth sped onto the screen. After mass backlash and audience outrage on social media, the OG Sonic design was quickly tossed in the bin. The uproar even forced Sonic's CG artist Jeff Fowler to comment. While this was a humble tweet with a hint of comedy thrown in there, we know Jess was probably rocking in his office corner at this point. Fans thought Ugly Sonic would live the rest of his days in the corners of the internet as a meme after creators redesigned Sonic into a more aesthetically pleasing character. That was until the genius 360 turnaround the freakish character had in the 2022 live-action Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, where Disney did literally rescue Ugly Sonic, turning him into an iconic character who could laugh at his own failure. And now fans are even calling for a spin-off movie about the bootleg character. So while the perception of Ugly Sonic might have been saved 3 years earlier, Sega probably still didn't want you to remember the initial backlash they received, not to mention the thousands they had to spend on redesigning and animating the character. What did you think of our picks? Did we forget something? Leave a comment below and let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content, and thanks for watching.
You know I can fake a conversation, and you know I can fake it to your eyes, and that ain't just one single complication.